Yo, what is going on, guys? If you've been around the channel for a while now, you'll know I tend to post a lot of 1v1 content, and this is because when I was starting the game, I was stuck around the silver level until I started playing 1's. It allowed me to focus on my own mistakes and how to better them, and for that reason it's always something I recommend to players when they say they're struggling in their rank, because 1's gives you a direct look at where your weaknesses are and where you need to improve. However, it can also be the most tilting game mode to play, so when you do sit down to play 1's, I recommend going in with the mindset of trying to improve and not just trying to win. That being said, the video I'm bringing you today is 5 tips to become a better 1's player in Rocket League. Number 1. Change up your speed and challenges. This is a tip I haven't heard many people talk about, but it's helped me a lot since I started using it. When I play 1v1 matches, I tend to spend the first 2 minutes challenging everything and pushing for every ball. This gives you an idea of your opponent's playstyle and how they deal with pressure. And it can also lead to some very easy goals if you take them by surprise. Now, after roughly 2 minutes, I start to slow my playstyle down into a more controlled game. This then does 2 things. It lets you play around your opponent's playstyle with better knowledge for how they react in certain situations, but with a lot more control. And it also throws the opponent off completely, as they'll try to adapt to playing a faster game in the beginning, only to have to change their own style halfway through. This is a good example of this tip. I spent the first part of this game challenging, pushing, and demoing the other player, using a very aggressive playstyle. He started to catch on and made his decisions and movements faster. This led him to being forced to take early shots and losing accuracy to pressure. Then, when I changed my playstyle to a slowed down, more controlled game, he wasn't ready for fake challenges and being given a little bit of time with the ball, and so he panicked. He expected early challenges and kept throwing the ball away. This then gave me a very easy second half of the game as well, as I was able to counterattack when he would give up the ball easily, or when he would force himself to shoot early and put himself out of position. Now, yes, there are some players that adapt very quickly or don't change their playstyle at all, but that means you can go between the two judging by the situation. I tend to do this when my opponent starts realizing I'm fake challenging a bit more. Every now and then I change up the pace and when you challenge. Being unpredictable in a 1's match will help you see success very quickly. Number 2. Stealing boost. Going hand in hand with an aggressive playstyle is stealing your opponent's boost. If you find yourself in a position to safely take your opponent's corner boost while keeping pressure on the ball, then go for it. You'll be surprised how much pressure you can put a player under simply by taking one of their corner boosts, especially if you can see they're going to go for it, because the majority of the time they're going to use a lot of their boost to get to the corner boost pads, which, if you steal it, means they're left in the corner with barely any boost while giving you a lot of time to make room and to make a play. You'll also notice that one play or one decision can snowball into a goal 3 or 4 plays down the track. Here's a good example of that. I start off by pressuring the goal and taking his corner boost. After putting the ball high up, I don't exactly know how much boost he's on, so I decide to demo him and take the corner boost. This then tells me he's about to spawn in with 33 boost. If he spawns behind me, I have an open net. If he spawns to the other side, he'll have to use all of his boost to get back to net in time to save the shot. He ends up on the other side and doesn't have time to get the corner boost, which leads him to use the remaining of his boost to save the shot and end up in the back of the net. I then put the ball to the side and go to make a play, thinking he'll go for his corner boost. When I notice he's going to challenge me, I put the ball to the side and once again steal the boost. At this point, I'm fairly confident he hasn't got any boost to challenge with, and so, admittedly, I started to mess around with him a bit, and I kept putting the ball over the goal to force him to try keep up. All I needed was one misplay at this point and I could take an easy goal. He ends up coming off of the wall and doesn't make a touch on the ball to clear. I notice he's still in a pretty good defensive position even though he has no boost, and so I hit the ball to the side of the goal to throw him off and get a pretty easy rebound. As you can see, stealing the boost early on can lead to multiple opportunities to score and can very quickly snowball into forcing your opponent to make unforced errors, which can lead to very easy goals. Tip number 3 is don't be afraid to miss on purpose. You might be thinking, what does that even mean? But there was a great example of that in the previous clip. I decided to hit the ball to the side of the net instead of taking the shot immediately. This did 2 things for me. It allowed me to have a better angle on goal, which obviously gives you a higher chance of scoring, but it also throws the opponent off. A lot of the time in a 1v1 situation, the defender is looking for the first sign of a shot and wants to clear it quickly. They're positioned well in front of the goal and have to shut down a lot of angles to limit your chances of scoring. You will find that if you shoot the ball just to the side of the goal, the opponent will see it as a shot that is just out of their reach, and so they'll commit heavily to it. Sometimes flipping completely out of the goal, missing it as it comes off the wall, or even hitting the inside of the goal and being left to watch as you hit the rebound in with ease. This type of shot works very well against players who are good at shadow defending. Once they get into position, it can be very hard to give yourself room or to move or shoot effectively. You can put the ball straight over them while they're driving backwards towards net, and the majority of the time, they'll quickly jump to meet it. You can then start to use the other tips mentioned in this guide to capitalize on their save, either by challenging early and going up to meet it as they recover, or by using the time to go take their corner boost pads and maintain pressure as they try to move on the ball. Another great example of this is hitting the ball off the backboard. While it may be difficult for some of you to do this, to have the kind of control needed to hit the ball off the backboard and be ready for the rebound, it is much more difficult for a player sitting under the ball to get up quick enough to make the save, and then once again, even if they do manage to make the save, you can start to pressure them when they get back down to make a play. Number 4, take more shots on net. Yes, this might directly contradict the last tip, but let me explain what I mean. All of these tips can and should be used together to make your offense far more deadly. Now, Scrub Killer is known as one of the world's best 1's players, and something that he's often credited for is the way he is always applying pressure to his opponent by his constant onslaught of shots. This goes with everything we've already said in this video so far. Pressuring your opponent for enough time will lead them to make an error in their defense at some point, which you can then capitalize on. Stop worrying about what kind of flick you're going to hit or whether or not your opponent's going to have a chance to save it. If you shoot, one of two things is going to happen. Either your opponent saves the ball and you have the opportunity for a rebound or a second play, or you're going to score. Yes, you might argue that shooting for the sake of shooting is just giving away the possession of the ball, but if you have good accuracy and you know how to put power behind your shots, there's a high chance your opponent won't be able to consistently save the ball and maintain control of it afterwards. So once again, mix in shots on net and just to the side of the net, with sealing the opponent's boost and constantly changing your playstyle, and you're going to be an incredibly hard player to counter. And the last tip number 5, is understanding your boost amounts. This is another one that you might be a little confused about, so let me explain. You need to get used to knowing how much boost you have around you at any given time. A good way to train this is to go into free play with unlimited boost turned off and work your way around the boost pads, learning where each of them are and the different paths you can take when you're moving into a defensive position. I'm sure you already know by now that you can make a save anywhere in the net with only 12 boost, which is helpful to know when your opponent starts to boost starve you. If they start to apply pressure and take your corner boost pads, you can pick up any of the few boost pads around the goal in order to make a save. If you find yourself often low on boost in games, then you need to start picking up the small boost pads as you go. There should be very few times where you're sitting at 0 boost for a period of time, and if you are, then you will only ever be a second away from a small boost pad anyway. Another fun thing to know just in case is that from one end of the field to the other, driving straight down the center gives you 72 boost. Which means you barely ever need to go out of your way to the sides to pick up the full boost pads. I see this happening far too often in all kinds of ranks, and it's linked to the fact that people feel safer when they have more boost to use. If you can train yourself early on to pick up the pads as you move throughout the game, you'll find yourself with a fair amount of boost the entire time, which will allow you to keep pressure on your opponent and let you make more offensive plays. This should lead to you scoring more and overall winning more games. That is everything for today's video. I just wanted to say we recently hit 3,000 subscribers, which is so awesome. So thank you so much for all your love and support. It really does mean a lot to me. And even though we did a stream already over on Twitch where I played against a whole lot of you guys, I've just started a giveaway over on my Twitter. I'm giving away a 20XX decal and the Solar Flare that is painted pink. The link to that is in the description, so please be sure to head over there guys and join in for your chance to win one of these 2 items. All you need to do to enter is follow me on Twitter and then just like and retweet the giveaway post. Anyway, thank you so much for watching guys, If you did enjoy the video, please make sure to like and subscribe to keep updated with the channel. And I guess we're on the road to 4K now, which is so insane. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.